forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
On the death of a Birmingham inmate, the Department of Corrections tells us that Martez Se was found unresponsive in his cell Monday at Limestone Correctional Facility. They say he was taken to a healthcare unit where he was pronounced dead shortly afterward. A cause of death is being investigated. He was serving a life sentence on a murder charge.
Oh, gunshots, and we're in the middle of the city. Oh, snap.
And leaked video of a shootout in a Birmingham Housing Authority parking lot is making the rounds on social media. This happened Monday night, and Birmingham police say, get this, nearly 100 rounds were fired in just 1 minute.
When you think of a city like Birmingham, Alabama, you probably think Old South, Southern hospitality, home cooking, and probably, definitely racism. But here's the surprise fact for you. In Birmingham, you got way higher chances of getting murked by a street dude than the KKK. Now, to provide detail, when we compare Birmingham's Alabama crime rate to those of other major cities, the difference becomes clear. In 2020, Birmingham, with a population of around 200,000 residents, had a much higher rate of violent crime than their neighboring cities like Montgomery and Mobile in Alabama. Now, for example, Birmingham had 1,573 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, while Montgomery would have 1,233 and Mobile would have about 1,317. But even when you look at cities with way more people, like New York and Los Angeles, Birmingham still stands out. In that same year of 2020, New York will report 537 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, while the city of Los Angeles will report 784. Now, when you focus on murders specifically, Birmingham's rate was much higher than those cities as well. Birmingham had 31.4 murders per 100,000 residents, a rate 5 times higher than a city like New York with millions of more residents, who will report a rate of 4.1 per 100,000, while Los Angeles's rank that year was 6.8, and it would be during a 7-month span from November of 2008 to June of 2009, where Martez Se and his family would wreak havoc on this city.
We knew every other day we was finding another body. I
mean, it blew me away. I've never had a case where there were so many victims and they were all connected together.
I could have never imagined the kind of turns and twists that this case took. Never. Every day it was something else. Every day. And every time we looked around, it was another body.
The last name Seay will always be notorious in Birmingham, not only because of Martez Se's 5 murder victims, or 6 if you count the death of his one-time girlfriend, who was shot and left paralyzed before passing away at the age of 36, but rather it's because following his crime spree, both him and his 2 brothers would be serving life sentences, with his mother arrested for conspiracy in connection to the crimes.
And authorities believed to be connected to the murder of 5 people in the Birmingham area over a decade ago died in a Limestone County prison. 39-year-old Martez Se was found unresponsive in his cell on Monday. AL.com reports he pleaded guilty to capital murder in 2011, admitting to 3 murders in 2008 and 2 more in 2009. The Alabama Department of Corrections is investigating Se's death, and we'll bring you the latest as we learn more. We'll bring you more details on air and on WHNT.com.
The 4 Birmingham homicide investigator talking to us after the death of a man. Says was a suspect in many murders in the area years ago. Now, we told you yesterday, Martez Se was found unresponsive in his cell at Limestone Correctional. He was serving a life sentence after admitting to killing 5 people and pleading guilty for conspiracy to commit murder of his girlfriend. Sergeant Cynthia Morrow says she investigated several homicides near Division Avenue in Eastlake and says he was linked to several of them. She describes this as a busy time for the Birmingham Police Department, but they were determined to get him off the street. Now, Morrow says homicide detectives and police officers kept hearing the same name. They were finally able to arrest him. He later admitted to killing 5 people in 2008 and 2009. He also conspired to kill his girlfriend, who was shot and paralyzed. Morrow says he lacked compassion for all of his victims, but she hopes he made things right with those families.
We knew every other day we was finding another body, My victims were friends with the suspects, so they were all kind of ran together. Sometimes they turned the gun on each other, and he didn't care. I mean, even his girlfriend, he shot his girlfriend and tried to kill her also. It was all about him not getting caught. He died in prison. I don't rejoice in that. I would love to be able to hear that he was redeemed in prison, that he was remorseful in prison, that he wanted to do the right thing with his family because he hurt a lot of people's lives.
The Alabama Department of Corrections law enforcement is investigating his death. An autopsy will determine the exact cause of death.
Martez Se, along with his 2 brothers, Cortez and Demarius, would grow up in Birmingham, Alabama, specifically in the Parkway Drive area. Their mother, Yolanda, a single parent, did everything in her power to keep them off the streets of Birmingham. With the help of her mother, Ethel Brown, friends of the family and neighbors would say that the boys were raised in a disciplined household and regularly attended Mount Hermon Baptist Church. Martez Se, born in 1983 and the oldest of the 3 brothers, would eventually drop out of West End High School, would fall in with a robbery crew from the city that he would allegedly had. Despite their mother's efforts, Cortez, born in 1986 and the middle child, would be the first of the 3 to receive a life sentence. He would plead guilty to the murder of a guy by the name of Joe Mack Carpenter on December 14, 2004. The homicide would occur at a suspected drug house in the Larkway Gardens apartments. He would be accused of shooting 3 people, with Carpenter losing his life, and he would end up being sentenced to life plus 25 years. Now, nobody knows if it was seeing his brother sent away for life or just growing up in Birmingham, period. But that would drive Martez deeper into the streets. And by late 2008, Martez, along with several of his associates, would be suspected in a string of homicides. The first being the slaying of a guy by the name of Christian Collins on November 23, 2008. His murder would remain unsolved until December of the following year, when witness testimony in another case would implicate Seay and members of his crew. The very next day, on November the 24th, the body of a guy by the name of Gregory Shelton Jr. would be found in a field near South Park Drive. It wouldn't take no time for authorities to immediately arrest Martez Se for that murder, as police determined he had been involved in a dispute with Sheldon not long before the murder. Those murder charges would eventually be dismissed when prosecutors would decline to identify a witness in the crime. The very next month, and just 3 days after Christmas, Martez and his crew would again be suspected of homicide. This time would be the December 28th, 2008 double homicide that would claim the lives of Osmond Williams and his girlfriend, a 17-year-old Woodlawn High School student by the name of Darrell Sampson. The police would suspect that the killings were a hit due to a drug robbery that Williams happened to be involved in, and Darrell Sampson just happened to be collateral damage. But it would be the next murder and subsequent attempt that would bring Martez Se's house of cards crumbling down when in May of 2009, Martez, along with his girlfriend, Candy Hawkins, would be implicated in the murder of a guy by the name of Lonnie Vaughn, a crime that would lead to his arrest and the eventual planning of Candy Hawkins' murder from behind bars to distance himself from that crime. Candy Hawkins, who was 25 at the time, had been wanted by Birmingham police since May 3rd of 2009 for the death of Lonnie Vaughn. Just a month after being sought after by police, would be shot multiple times on 40th Avenue North on June 15th, 2009, with the shooting leaving her paralyzed. After her arrest, using information from Candy Hawkins' cell phone, in June of 2009, Martez Se would be connected to the string of murders, as well as implicating his mother and his youngest brother, Demarius, in the planning and attempted murder of Candy Hawkins. Martez, just like Cortez before him and Demarius after, will receive a life sentence, with his mother Yolanda, who did everything she could to keep her sons off the streets, would find herself involved and be sentenced to 10 years for conspiracy in connection with the shooting of Candy Hawkins. Hawkins would pass away 11 years later at the age of 36 on June 22nd, 2020, despite many people asking how Martez was able to escape the death penalty at the time of his crimes. He wasn't able to, as he himself died in his cell just 3 years after Candy in August of 2023. Now, y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all make sure y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all make sure y'all tapping with me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until the next play, y'all know how we rocking. Shay's Popalot. Salute the almighty mob.